Opening tonight for Coldplay, Marina and the Diamonds with Prima Donna on the Pride of Toronto, 1039 Proud FM on Mind and Body Monday. Julie Lieff from Fit Organics, our fitness fairy in studio. Hi, gorgeous. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're doing
Terrific.
good.
Now, listen, today we're tackling cravings.
Yepper.
What goes on in our brain when it comes to cravings?
You know, whether it's food cravings, it's kind of weird because there's three parts of the brain involved in a craving, no matter what kind of craving it is. You have the hippocampus, you have the insula, and you have the caudate. And ironically, they're involved in cravings for drugs. They're involved in cravings for food. They're involved in cravings for sex, for someone to text you. It's very funny how somebody
Full
texts
circle.
you. It's funny how all of this, it's a reward pathway. There's something called the limbic system and a reward pathway. And some of us are more stimulated by reward pathways than other. Some people, it kind of doesn't really turn them on to eat chocolate, or they're very tempered, and then the others of us, like everyone in this room, we are really charged up and we really love certain things and we really get excited by
Pleasure-based.
certain things. And there's sort of this whole sort of play of constant sort of balance and rebalance of hormones that goes on in our brain and brain chemicals. You'll also hear the word neurotransmitter, and it's all the same thing. Neurotransmitters are chemical messengers in your brain that are also governed by hormones. So, whether it's, like I said, whether it's chocolate, whether it's sweets, whether it's somebody you want to see, whether it's the excitement, whether it's the excitement of getting a text from somebody you think is hot, whatever it is, it's all the same pathway. Yeah, it's funny how that happens. So
It's like
there's
pleasure pathway.
Exactly. And there's three neurotransmitters, serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine. And those are all released with this reward pathway. And they're also, strangely enough, released with food. Serotonin, the majority of our body's serotonin, I think I've mentioned this on the show before, resides in our gut. So when you go on a super low-carb diet, your serotonin is totally altered. And what's weird about serotonin and the other brain chemicals, too, you can't just eat them. There's no such thing as a serotonin vitamin. They have to be produced by a complicated sort of network of ways. And same with dopamine and norepinephrine. They're more governed, however, not by carbs. They're when you eat protein and sometimes a little bit of fat in there, your dopamine and your norepinephrine elevate. And what that does is it gives you focus and sort of mental acuity. And so that's why if you're not eating a balanced diet, your brain chemicals can really be off, and that's going to set you up for more cravings later. It's weird. There's a couple of other hormones in the body, but those are the three biggies that really govern what we're thinking about and what we're craving. And that's why a lot of the time really, strict diets fail, because you just can't trick your brain. And it's funny how everything comes back to the brain.
When we get back, Julie Lieff is going to help us combat those cravings, correct?
Yes, we're going to kill that stuff.
What's your weirdest craving?
Oh, my weirdest craving. You know what? Peanut butter. I'm highly allergic. I get hives and I wheeze because my asthma kicks in. And I want peanut butter every time I see it. And almond butter won't do. And I like the really bad sugary kind. It's bizarre. I stay away.
Helena, your weird craving?
Cheese whiz.
Ooh.
It's like rare, and I don't usually fulfill it because it's embarrassing to buy, but I like it.
And mine's Nutella.
Ooh, Nutella.
Yeah, I could eat it by the spoonload. When we get back, we're talking about cravings and how to fight the Nutella craze, the cheese whiz craze, or the peanut butter craze. Don't go anywhere. Usher is screaming for cravings on the Pride of Toronto, 1039 Proud FM. Julie Lieff, Fit Organics in studio, helping us to battle and combat cravings. How do we do it, Jules?
All right. Well, I have some tips on how to combat food cravings. We all know cravings start in the brain, and one of the best ways to beat a craving is to beat your brain. And I don't mean hit your head against a wall. I mean start by writing down what you're eating. Start a food journal and be honest. Sometimes you might not want the poutine, Mike Chalut, or the gummies, Helena, or I don't know, everything else that I eat, Jules. If you have a food journal and you sort of know what you've eaten, if you find you're craving more foods, start writing them down. And you might find that if you've eaten something that's satisfying and look, I just had a nice steak with broccoli and half a baked potato. I really have no, why am I craving this? I just ate. And so you might be able to smart yourself out of it. Psych yourself out of it. Another thing you can do is eat nutrient-dense foods. So the more bang you're going to get for your caloric buck, the less likely you are to want just crappy food. And in the last part of the segment, we talked about brain chemicals and how to keep your hormones balanced in your body. And by eating well-balanced meals, you keep your hormones balanced, and that will then keep you from craving foods. Also, you don't want to be extremely, extremely restrictive. Sometimes you have to let loose a little bit. And what I find with a lot of clients is that, sometimes, and myself included, sometimes you feel like chocolate and then you eat a chocolate protein bar. And then that doesn't really do it. So then you have a Frappuccino with some chocolate syrup on it. And that doesn't really do it either. So then you have a chocolate bar.
Yeah.
Whereas you really should have probably just had a chocolate bar. Because the 200-calorie chocolate bar versus the 800 calories of other crap you ate to try and kill that craving, you might have just have been better to give in. And so, I mean, it's
and
moderation.
Giving in is good, right?
Giving in isn't the worst thing,
yeah.
I mean, it's all relative. And I think if you're giving into your cravings every day or every meal, then obviously you want to be, you want to be looking at that more carefully and seeing what else is, what else there is to do. Ultimately, you want to remember that if you do have a little indulgence, you don't want to feel bad about it because that then sets off another sort of chain reaction of hormones and feeling bad.
Yeah.
Right. And then that leads again to coming around again. So it's a little bit of moderation and a little bit of trying to outsmart it and a little bit of knowing that if you really want something, sometimes, you have to eat a little bit of a good quality chocolate or a little bit of a good quality gelato or whatever it is, or chips, whatever it is that's going to get that craving gone. But not, like I said, just not too often.
Now it's almost August.
Yes.
And in January, I started full time. Actually, was it January? No. It was probably earlier than that, wasn't it?
Started full-time Fit Organic?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it was before Christmas and then again after Christmas.
Yeah. And so now I've kept off 26 pounds.
So crazy. It's so good.
Because of Fit Organics.
Congratulations.
Check out Julie Lieff, Fit Organics Queen. She is the fitness fairy. She's helping us with cravings today. What's your website, Jules?
www.fitorganicswithanx.com. You can also follow us on Twitter. Same thing, fitorganicswithanx.com. And add us on Facebook.
Love your guts, girl.
Love your guts.